Hello kids, my name is Eliezer Margalit. I made this video special for your teacher to help them explain the Jewish holiday called Hanukkah, also known as the Festival of Lights. But where does this tradition come from? We have to travel back in time 2,000 years to find out. "2,000 years ago, there was a group of people called the Israelites who resided in the land of Judea. This group of people still exists today, but we call them Jews, and they live all around the world. They had their own culture, their own language, and their own religion, and they believed in one God. But the land was under the rule of a wicked king. He was called King Antiochus and ruled over the Seleucid Empire, one of the most powerful in the world at the time. King Antiochus wanted all the people of his land to live the way he lived and pray the way he prayed, according to Greek customs. This meant that he did not want the Jewish people to dress differently, worship differently, or eat differently. The Israelites were no longer allowed to read and study their holy scripture, celebrate their festivals, and were forbidden from worshiping at the most sacred place for the Jews, the temple in Jerusalem. King Antiochus's army even went to the temple and destroyed all their religious items and brought in statues of Greek gods. How would you feel if someone came into your home and said you couldn't celebrate your traditions anymore? That's exactly how the Jewish people felt, outraged. But the Jews didn't give up. A small group of Jewish warriors called the Maccabees decided to fight back. Even though the Maccabees were outnumbered and didn't have the fancy weapons that the king's army had, they were courageous and determined. And guess what? They won. The Maccabees fought hard and eventually defeated Antiochus's army. They got their temple back and started cleaning it up so they could worship there again, getting rid of the Greek statues. Here's where the miracle of Hanukkah comes in. When the temple was purified and ready for worship, the Maccabees went to light the menorah in the temple, a type of torch or lamp which is ignited for religious occasions using oil. But they found only one tiny jar of pure olive oil to ignite the flame, just enough to burn for one day. But instead of lasting one day, the oil lasted for 8 whole days. That gave them enough time to make more oil, and they saw it as a sign from God, a miracle. The word Hanukkah is derived from the Hebrew word to dedicate, because the Maccabees were able to regain control of Jerusalem and rededicate the sacred temple. To remember this story, Jewish people celebrate Hanukkah for 8 nights. Every night, we light a candle on a special menorah called a Hanukkah. We play games like dreidel and eat delicious fried foods like latkes and donuts to remember the miracle of the oil. It is tradition to play the dreidel game during Hanukkah time. A dreidel is a spinning top. Each side has a Hebrew letter painted on it. Depending on which letter the dreidel lands on, the player either loses or gains chocolate coins, called gelt. Due to Hanukkah's proximity to Christmas, the Jewish people have adopted some Christmas traditions such as gift giving. Traditionally, a present is opened each night of Hanukkah. The gifts start out small and get bigger and more exciting each night. But some families like mine prefer to wait until the last night and open them all at once. Because the Jews follow their own lunar calendar, Hanukkah begins on different days each year, usually in late November through mid-December. Alright kids, we are done with today's Hanukkah lesson. Thank you for listening. I hope this video was interesting and you learned something new. The next time you see a menorah, you'll know what it means and remember the story of the brave Maccabees, the tiny jar of oil, and the miracle that lasted 8 days. As we rejoice in the holiday season, may we also remember the shared themes of hope, resilience, and community that unite us during this season. whether it's the joy of Christmas, the celebration of heritage in Kwanzaa, or the Jewish tradition of Hanukkah. Wishing you all a holiday season filled with light, love, and joy.